What is up, my car loving friends? Hello, we are here for another really fun invention. But I want to talk about something serious. Are you experiencing wetness in the front passenger seat, or possibly even the driver's area, on the floor? If you have this problem, you're in for a fun adventure. No! No! I have done a lot of jobs on this beat up old 733.
Not again.
I'm here to tell you, the job we're going to do today is by far the worst job you'll probably ever have to do on this car.
Just forget it!
That is replacing your heater core.
Fine. I'll do it.
You gotta pull the dash out and all kinds of other stuff, but why do I bother talking about it? Let's just get right into it. Alright, so the battery died on the GoPro, but essentially there is the plate that we removed. There is the heater core, the reason for this whole entire job. And I am very thankful that BMW made this so easy. I mean, it makes perfect sense why you would make it so easy.
I'm picking up your sarcasm.
Well, I should hope so, because I'm laying it on pretty thick.
This was very, very difficult to get to the heater core. Now I have to disconnect the hose on this side, and then it slides out this way.
You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger, some French fries. How about a Weineken?
The real problem with removing the heater core is, one, this piece is in the way, or removing the piece to get to the heater core. This piece is in the way, and there's a screw down here, and there's a screw down here. Now, as you can see, that's pretty much impossible to get to right there. Here's the screw for it right here. So I managed to get it out. Managing to get it back in will be even more interesting, but we'll see. I can't make any promises. But now that the heater core is essentially at our beck and call,
Say what now?
we should be able to pull it out of there pretty easy and be ready to replace it when the new one gets here.
You sure about that?
I don't actually see any leakage.
What did you say?
I don't actually see any leakage.
That's what I thought you said.
Specifically on the heater core.
Oh, I misheard that completely.
It was definitely leaking, for sure. And you can kind of feel it in this leather down here. There's still some dampness to it.
You misheard that on purpose!
Either way, these are a problem point for these cars. So if you ever get in here to do the vacuum pods, which is these, there's one down there. There's actually one right here on this door. There's two on the cowl.
Freeze, cows!
If you're gonna go in here and do these vacuum pods anyways so that your air conditioner and your heat work properly, well, you may as well do this job. There are other vacuum pods also buried in here somewhere. We're gonna pull off these vacuum hoses.
That's what she said.
And we're gonna test all of them. And we're gonna fix the ones that need fixing. Hopefully that's the plan. But we'll get to that once we get our heater core squared away. Once you finally get the cowl totally removed, I was using a screwdriver to try to pry the hoses off the arms. I used vice grips to try to loosen the hose on the arms, and of course several times I had to go in there with the pliers and put the cowl back in its original shape. This was just a mess. There was no easy way to pull these hoses off. They had been on there for 30 years and they really didn't want to come off. So this was not fun. This was a hard job. Ow. Fuck.
Wow, let's see an instant replay.
Ow. Fuck.
The one most popular song of the year.
Now you saw how difficult that was to pull out of the car. Nearly impossible. You have to remove the entire dashboard, take everything out, then you have that huge cover, then you have a metal plate that runs down the left-hand side that's immobile, that somehow you have to wiggle it out from. And the only way that's possible is because the arms on the heater core are removable. So you could disconnect them, pull the heater core out, then pull the arms out separately. That's the only way it's possible. So imagine my excitement when I received my heater core. It was, of course, third party, ordered on eBay. And I ordered it before I ever started the heater core job. But imagine my excitement when this is what I received.
Nope, 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 nope.
Now you can see the problem here. This has those arms directly connected to it. So immediately, I contacted the company and I'm like,
What am I supposed to do with this?
this is not gonna, you can't wiggle this thing in here with the arms attached. And what they said was,
Just do it!
well, they're very bendable and flexible, so you can just bend them however you want and then squeeze it in there.
Really? Nothing.
Okay, let me ask you this. After you spend an entire day removing the dash and getting to the point where you can actually access the heater core, and then you spend another half a day releasing the arms on this thing from the rubber hoses that attach them to it so that you can actually pull it out.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
So you've probably got about a day and a half into this, maybe more. Do you really want to risk putting this in there, bending these arms all around, and just saying, yep, it's not gonna crack, it's gonna be fine, it'll never leak?
I don't think so.
That is a lot of work to take the risk that bending these arms all up isn't gonna crack them or whatever. So basically what I did was I went ahead and I bought some rubber O-rings to replace the O-rings on the arms of the original heater core. Then I tested and tested and tested my heater core. I cleaned it all up, sprayed everything off, and I pressure tested it using an air compressor. Then I put the O-rings on and the arms, and I pressure tested that many, many, many times to make sure that it wasn't leaking.
Hey partner, come on, you gotta relax. Don't force it. Gonna blow out your O-ring.
Once I determined that it definitely wasn't leaking, I decided to reuse the original heater core with the new O-rings, and here's how that went. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something that you probably haven't seen a video on just yet for these E23s, and this kind of goes for any old BMW or Mercedes. The AC system or the HVAC system, the heat and all that stuff, is controlled by vacuum pods. And the vacuum pods look like this right here. So that is a vacuum pod for the HVAC system. And we're gonna test these. This particular one happens to go to the rear air. So it opens up a valve that's underneath the bottom of it to send air to the back occupants. And that's controlled by this air pod here, which has this black vacuum line right here. And the black vacuum line runs around to this solenoid right here, and it was plugged into there. So we unplugged the black vacuum line for it right here, plugged it into a little tester. And we have that tester right here.
That's not mine.
And what we could do is pump that tester up and see if this thing holds vacuum.
I don't even know what this is. This sort of thing ain't my bag, baby.
As you can see, it's holding vacuum. Now, if you want to see what this does, let me show you. Go ahead and let the vacuum out. And we'll bring this up here and we'll watch the valve, and I'll pump it up.
Honestly, it's not mine.
And you can see that it pulls that up, and then when I let it go, you'll see the valve will close again. And there you go. So we know that one's holding air and it's working properly. We have a lot more to check out though. And when we get to one that's bad, I'll show you how to fix it. So here we have a vacuum pod. When the vacuum goes on, it pushes this in and out. Let me show you what I'm talking about here.
It's not mine!
Alright, so this should do something. So that brings it in. And this will probably push it out. Oh, that brings it in too. So you can see that one is holding pretty good. Let's see about the other one. You can see they hold pretty good for a little while and then they lose their grip.
You did it on purpose!
So we've got this back one here that's not holding, and we have this one here. It seems to be holding air pretty good. So we're not going to worry too much about this front. We're going to try to replace this back one and see if we can't fix that problem. How do we do that? Well, first thing we're going to do is mark it. I want to mark this point with this point. And then we're going to go ahead and just draw a line up from there so that everything is going to realign when we put it back together. Now these cups are what we're going to use to replace these. We've got a couple different sizes in here, so we can choose the proper size. And what we're basically going to do is we're going to put these little pieces of paper in here. And these are actually just cut up pieces of credit card or something like that. And they slide in here to hold all the tabs down so we don't break any off. Now we have all of our tabs pushed in. We should be able to pull this off. We have the cover. We have the spring. And then we have a simple cup that holds this cup. Now that cup is held on by another spring back here. So we just want to eliminate that spring. And that lets us pull this piece of metal back so that we can remove the cup off of the plastic piece. And what I'm doing is pushing the cup down off it.
20 minutes later.
And what we could do is remove this side to give us a little more access. So let's go ahead and do that.
One eternity later.
So now we've got this piece off. And you can see that fits around that ridge. This one fits around that ridge. This one is much easier to remove than the other one. So we'll just go ahead and quickly replace that one.
Nope.
Pull it off. And all you have to do is figure out which size it is. Push the new one on. But we'll wait for that because we want to go ahead and remove this other one. So we're going to pull that off. And so we have this and this that hold these on.
Eventually.
So we've got that off of there. But the big question is, how do we get it out and how do we get the new one on?
Why are you asking me?
And if I'm looking at it, to be honest, I don't think we really need to struggle with this one too much. This one looks like it's in pretty good shape. I don't see any holes, tears, or anything like that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to replace the bottom cup. Got the spring back in properly. Everything looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our holes. And of course this has to sit in that pocket. That's the key for this vacuum stuff to work. And then it has to go inside this ridge. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this over top of here.
You sure about that?
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this down and we're gonna pull the bucket over top of it so that it fits properly. And we're going to go ahead and we got to do it in line properly. In the proper line.
All done.
You're not done.
Now we can actually test that one to see if we got a proper seal. And we can look down here and see if we got the proper seal. But let's go ahead and test it.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh. Yeah, we can't test it because it has to be sealed on this side too.
What an idiot!
This one's tougher because you remember we've got this little jobby. So we want to put our spring in there. And then we want to get it around this.
Boy, that took forever.
Alright, we have one rebuilt. Let's test it.
Maybe we just skip it this time.
And this should be the bigger movement. Yep, that's not working right.
Smooth move, Ajax.
Yep, that's not holding pressure, so that's not good. Now that one seems to be doing okay. So we got to kind of check this one out here. See why this one isn't holding pressure.
Much later.
Let's see if we get a better result. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Finally!
Telling you, that's literally the worst job that you can do on one of these old BMWs, and I don't think it's probably all that much different on the E28 or an E24 or anything like that. It just sucks.
It certainly does suck.
It's a lot of work, but if it doesn't leak anymore, well, at least you're just thankful it doesn't leak anymore.
That's it. That's it? That's it.
Why would I spend all this time, energy, and money on this old beat-up 733 that's not worth anything?
I just don't know anymore.
Well, it could only be for the love of cars. And if you're still watching this, it can only be because you love cars too. So go out there, find that beater that you always wanted that's been sitting in a field for years, bring it home, get it back on the road, and have some fun with it. That's what it's all about. I don't know what I'm doing, and if I can figure this out, I know you can too. And either way, I'll see you guys in the next video.